Older people talk to the police more because, like, say if they've got something going on, they bring the police and ask them to do something about it. Like people running around outside their house or something, they just complain about like really silly things.
I just really like him because he, like, whenever you've got in trouble by the other police officers, he helps you through it and then gets you through the hard stuff that you've been through and like calms you down instead of getting angry and end up smacking something.
I've been put in the back of a Land Rover twice for nothing.
There's a murder in Bangor and the guys, they thought they lived in my auntie's house and they broke in and like broke all the doors down and tore the house apart. And they had to get like new doors and everything, new windows. It just feels like they should have like paid more attention to where the person went. They weren't apologetic, they just like kind of left it. And
they're always on our backs. One night I was walking home and I was pulled over by a jeep and they were asking me who I was, what I was doing and where I was going. So I felt really intimidated about it, and I don't think they provide a good service in the community because I think they cause more hassle than anything.
I did work experience in the Waterside police station and the boy just showed us around. We went to Maidan and saw the traffic police and the CSI, and CSI is not like the program CSI, all the high-tech gear. It's just basic fingerprints and UV lights and special chemicals that you can find on to help you find the fingerprints.
I was out one night and like these people just come up to me, didn't know who they were, didn't know where they were from, and they started talking to me, so I walked on. I knew that they would follow me, so I come into my auntie's house and I told her, and she rang the police, and the police tried their best. And that's why I like the police, because when something bad happens, they could be there for you.
I think they do a good job. Like, I started working here 4 years ago, and you know, like, because it's a police run program, like, they helped me with a confidence boost because like, I was only 15 when I started working here, and you know, I didn't know what to do or anything like that there, and you know, they taught me how to like interact with the kids and how to like calm them down when they started to like sort of hype up.
There was an incident that happened in my house, and they took forever to get there, about nearly 2 hours. And when you don't come around, they're always there. And then when you actually need them, they don't come. Like, the stuff like happened and like it finished. And then like 2 hours later, about 5 of the big van things pulled up.
When I was younger, I sort of had a bad few experiences with the police, but it's probably because I've never really been around them and knew the good points and what they're there for. But now, after being here for over near a year, I've sort of got to realise what they're all about.
There were some members of one of the groups we work with who were on a night out, and coming back they were approached by some 14-15-year-olds, and the person guiding one of the blind people was actually hit, and then the blind person themselves were hit, and they said they rang for the police, who just didn't really know what to do with them. They didn't treat them the same as everybody else because they were blind. They felt a bit more awkward or difficult, perhaps.
Well, there's been a few occasions whenever the police really haven't taken much action whenever we've been out, because we've come across a few people taking a beating, like outside the Emerald on a Friday, Saturday night, and there's police cars up and down the road, and they just drive on past.
Even the issue that's come up recently now at night time, where there are gangs of Polish nationals walking around the cathedral quarter at night time now, waiting for gay people to come out and attack them. So if the police were to be patrolled at night time around those areas, it would kind of make people feel safer about going out and out.
I was walking through the street with a ball underneath my arm, and there was a big sign saying, there's no ball games allowed. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be playing football or rugby around here. So I was walking through, and the next thing, a police Land Rover comes up beside me and so, we need you to, I hope you're not playing football games. And I was like, I'm obviously not. I'm walking here with a ball under my arm. And in my own mind, I was sitting there going, should you not be doing better things?
You feel threatened because when you're in a police Land Rover and there's 6 or 7 of them sitting beside you, who are all sitting staring at you, questioning you for what you've done. You haven't even done nothing. you'd feel intimidated. Come off aggression and no care just for their safety or nothing.
I've been coming here for 5 years, and I enjoy working with the police. They're great crack, have a good joke about, and when you get to know them, they get to know you. It's easier to interact with police.
2 weeks ago I was assaulted, and the officer in charge, it might have took him 3 days, but I still managed to get the job done, and now the boy is getting took up for it.
My history with the police, I didn't really like them because around my area they don't really like the police. And I like to study stuff about like Irish history and stuff. And I was watching a video on YouTube when the RUC hijacked Francis Hughes' funeral, and I didn't really like it there because I wouldn't like it if somebody came and hijacked my funeral.
I'd been attacked, and I felt, because I'm obviously gay or whatever, they can see from the clothes I wore that night, they treated me differently, or the way they came across me, I didn't appreciate it. So I think sometimes their own hidden prejudice or agenda can affect the way in which they deal with you.
Catholics broke my brother's window. He phoned up and they never came at all. They never came. But whenever the police got a water balloon through the car, the pillars came straight away.
Well, actually, I would accept that premise, is that we can always do better, firstly. And secondly, when we look at the complaint percentages from young people, and we categorize that from age 16 to 24, is that demographic has changed since 2001 in the office. And roughly that age group is about 21% of our complaints right now. But it could be higher.
I think ASBOs are despicable. I don't think they work. I think they're focused on the wrong people. I think the whole principle of innocent until proved guilty has been turned on its head.
ASBOs are a wee bit useless because most of the people in our area who you hear have them, nothing's changed.
I don't think they're particularly useful. It's just like a restraining order or community service or something like that. I haven't seen any vast improvement. Show me the facts and figures to say that ASBO have made an improvement to the social lives of people in West Belfast, because I certainly haven't seen people still jury, they still steal, they still driving. So I don't really see what their effectiveness. I don't see any effectiveness in them.
I feel a complete tactic which is a bit unfair is that like examples of certain young people. They serve you to intimidate other people, which I think is sort of slightly unfair, and they draw conclusions and make stereotypes and prejudices which aren't necessarily true.
I think it's a good idea because it restricts them from going out and drinking and stuff and making a fool of themselves and doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Personally, I don't think ASBOs work because no one actually agrees to them and no one follows their ASBOs.
ASBOs haven't been used that heavily. Sometimes the perception of what's out there doesn't actually match the reality. And I suppose from a human rights point of view, I want to make sure that it's not, that where they are used, they're not actually thrown out at people in an innocent fashion.
I went through, I think it was a youth conference I went through. It really did help me, instead of, because it was either an ASBO or going to the youth conference and doing community service. And I think going to the youth conference really helped me.
I think youth conference helps you, they help teach you about the consequences and what you're doing, why you're doing it, and helps you think about stuff just.
What I have set for regards to what the PSNI needs to do are standards that are very high. I have to say I have not got the support of the members of the policing board for the standards that I have argued to put into the legislation, the guidelines that will currently exist. And that is something I think as children and young people that you need to make your voice heard.
Well, I think communication is the absolute key here. We as a board in the early days identified groups which we thought we had to work harder with to get them engaged in policing, and young people was one of those groups.
A whole range of things. Probably the most serious crime that can happen in our society is when children get involved in bad behaviour in the home, whether it's domestic violence or domestic abuse. These things lead on to antisocial behaviour, patterns of abuse themselves, and the whole issue that we're trying to do is highlight the process that's involved, the knock-on effect. We want to get it to a situation where any crime, any abuse of the person from any quarter is as unacceptable now as drink driving now is.